Joining us once again is Derrell Peel, our livestock marketing specialist. Derrell, take us through the recent weeks in terms of boxed beef and fed cattle.
You know, boxed beef has been an absolute roller coaster this year. In January, we had a big run up, unexpected to high levels, set a new record. It came back down fairly dramatically in February, but then in March we saw it run up to an even higher level, which has now peaked. It looks like we're working our way down from there. It's dropped quite a bit just in the last few days. And, you know, so that raises a question of where's it going to go down to and sort of what's ahead in terms of both price level and maybe more importantly, the price volatility. It's been an absolute roller coaster in this market. Fed cattle prices kind of followed the same thing, a little bit less dramatically. They peaked in January, backed off a bit in February. They're running really strong right now, probably have peaked or at the peak at this point, and they will begin to work their way modestly lower through April. We're moving into, through April into May and June will be the peak in fed cattle marketings and cattle slaughter seasonally. So we would expect these markets to come down a little bit seasonally with that kind of, supply change through the next couple of months.
All right, so what about feeder cattle?
Through this whole process, really going back to last fall, feeder cattle prices have been very high. We've moved a little bit higher, and we're at record levels with feeder cattle prices. Not anywhere near the kind of volatility that those other markets have displayed. Feeder cattle prices, seasonally should continue to grind a little bit higher into midsummer. That may or may not happen. It probably depends as much as anything on moisture conditions as we go forward. But one of the things you have now is with these strong feeder cattle or fed cattle prices, you've got a lot of justification, if you will, in the short run here for these feeder cattle prices to stay pretty stable and to be supported at the levels they're at.
All right, now things are starting to green up around us here. How are things looking for producers as we head into spring?
You know, spring has been late in coming in terms of the temperature more than anything. It's been cold until very recently. Looks like it's beginning to happen. I think in Oklahoma and really around the country, we have producers in kind of three categories. We've got producers in a situation where they've got quite a lot of moisture. They can move forward with their sort of normal plans. If they're in herd expansion mode, at this point in time, those can move forward. Later on, they certainly have to pay attention to weather conditions, but they're off to a good start. We've got another group of producers that have just sort of barely adequate moisture at this point in time. They're going to go one way or the other. They're kind of teetering on the edge of either getting better or getting worse, and those producers really have to be nimble and light on their feet in the next few weeks, watching the weather and being prepared to either move forward aggressively if they get an opportunity or to retrench and take some defensive measures if they continue to get dry. The last category are those producers in parts of Oklahoma and again in parts of the country that have really never been out of the drought for the last 3 years or so. In most cases, those producers have already made the kind of adjustments that they can maintain at this point. So they're just watching to see when conditions do improve and they can sort of get back and move forward, but probably don't face any imminent decisions in terms of certainly not getting worse in most cases. It's just looking for an opportunity to get better.
All right, plenty to think about. Derrell Peel, livestock marketing specialist here at Oklahoma State University.